I don't ever speak in definites or guarantees. That's just not what I've ever done or who I am. But, looking at the bigger picture, I would say that all signs are pointing to this could be it.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. I'm Missi Matthews. That was Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger asked if Monday night against the Browns could potentially be his final regular season game at Heinz Field. We're going to talk about that and much more about this AFC North matchup. Let's welcome in our panelists. We have Bob Labriola of Steelers.com and Steelers Digest, Craig Wolfley, former Steelers offensive lineman, and Matt Williamson from Steelers Nation Radio. Lab 7 indicating this could be it in terms of playing at Heinz Field in the regular season, could be it for his career. What do you think that does in terms of the urgency for this game, knowing that it could be it?
Well, I think the playoff implications are probably still primary for a lot of the players in the locker room. But, historically, at least in my experience, the Steelers have always been a good event team. And by that, I mean last game at Three Rivers Stadium, first game at Heinz Field, different events, when the team chose to recognize certain things, either past parts of their history, people, the Dan Rooney game, a lot of those kinds of things. And so I think that the Steelers will come out. It'll be a home game. The fans will definitely be juiced. I can't imagine a scenario in which they will not. And, just in the remote possibility that there would be any, I won't say coming out with a letdown, but, coming out slowly, I think the fans will take care of that. And I think we should see a pretty good 60-minute performance from the team on Monday night.
Well, if you played with a Hall of Fame quarterback yourself, what do you think the guys in the locker room are saying as they get ready for this Monday night matchup?
One of the beautiful things about it is that as you approach this game, there's so much to play for, and the storylines are all over the place. And I know that there'll be a uniting of the guys together, because here's the thing about it. There's a guy over in Cleveland. His number, I believe, is 95. Am I correct in that, Bob?
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, that's it. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Right? So you got this guy. What's that?
The guy who likes to use other people's helmets as a weapon.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Lest we forget. Okay.
Right.
So the point is, you have this gentleman over there, and you want to make sure that you rain on his parade. All right. Because his parade would be to come into on a Monday night football game in Pittsburgh and put the kibosh on Ben Roethlisberger, who has been tormenting the Browns for roughly 2 decades or so. Okay. So here's the point. If I'm an offensive lineman, I know by myself, my own thinking, I'm keeping an eye on 95. Okay. I'm going to make sure. And then you go ready for the game. And then the line coach comes up, just reminds everybody that you have this guy, you have this whole front of the Browns defense that really wants to come after 7. Let's not let them have any fun. Let's make their life miserable and send them packing. And those are the types of things that kind of motivate an offensive line. You've already got, the situation with going on with, whether you're going to make the playoffs or not, but just that added little boost to me makes it worthwhile. I did it once with Terry Bradshaw. We played in New York back in '83 before most of the people watching this were born. Right. So the fact is we go in there and it was told and known to us, nobody hits Terry. All right. He's got an elbow hanging by a thread of a tendon. And the fact is, if you let somebody hit him, it will be his last game. And so we took that seriously, and we did our job. Although Terry did blow his elbow out because he threw it. I followed the guy 5 different ways on one play. So we took it seriously. Don't let him touch your quarterback.
Matt, this is an extra element, but this is still a must-win for the Steelers if they want to keep their playoff chances alive. Earlier this week, Coach Tomlin said he was not opposed to giving the keys to Ben and seeing what can happen. Are we at that point? And if so, what does that look like, and will it work?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think you're going to get Ben's best efforts game in preparation, extra day to heal his aging bones. And I do like the Steelers matchups at the receiver positions without question. It's a good secondary in Cleveland, but let's not underrate the Steelers' weapons. I think it could be a big Freiermuth game as well. The aspect that I would really attack, though, is Najee as a receiver in a Lev Bell manner, and easier throws, crisper receiver type routes, not just kind of flaring out or, going down and turning around. We haven't seen a lot of that from Harris yet, but I think it's very much in the cards. I would also think Harris and Gentry in particular are always going to be aligned. One of the two is always going to be aligned on Garrett's side of the field, to help the tackle out. And that's going to be a high priority as well. But I'd be shocked if Ben doesn't play his best game.
Myles Garrett, also the guy that had tombstones with quarterbacks that he had sacked in his yard around Halloween. But Labs, going back to the Week 8 matchup, it wasn't like he was a game wrecker against the Steelers, and Pittsburgh obviously got the win. What have you seen in terms of what teams are doing against Myles Garrett up to this point?
Well, I think that, Myles Garrett has been nicked up occasionally throughout this season. And so, you just really never know what percentage he is in terms of being healthy. But, I don't, just as we have been talking about getting Ben's best effort, best performance, I really think that, Myles Garrett, this is a career-making potential situation for him, stage that he's on. And I would expect nothing but 100% from him on every snap all the time. And I also think that the Browns might be tending towards trying to do some creative things with him, for him, to try and take advantage of him and his abilities. Myles Garrett to me is obviously job one. Most important thing for the Steelers Monday night is going to be to win the game. 1A is you got to make sure that this guy does not get his wish. And I have no doubts, because we can see it's on television, it's on video, that he is willing to rip a guy's helmet off and use it as a weapon. And so if a guy's willing to do that, I wouldn't put anything past him.
Well, if Matt brought up using Najee kind of as a receiver, having the other receivers, play a part in this defensively, are the Browns doing anything differently, and how can the Steelers exploit them?
Well, I think one of the best ways, Matt kind of mentioned it, but 12 personnel, they used a lot in Week 8, all right? They did a great job. Listen, Zach Gentry, let me tell you something. This guy is coming along like unbelievable. This guy is really starting to take on some very excellent physical characteristics of a top tight end. I mean, the fact that he can catch the ball and the fact that he can block the ball, block coming off the ball. This guy is, you could almost get a little bit of a Gronk, Aaron Hernandez type thing going on. When they run the combination routes underneath, when you catch the Browns sitting back in the zone, and one of them runs the seam and one of them runs an in route, you can see the linebackers going, what do I do? Which one? They're not sure. That's a big plus for the Steelers. The hidden vigorous to me was, I think it was 7 catches for around 83, 84 yards between the two of them. Those guys can be dynamite, I think, coming around this time with the Browns. And with the offensive line, if you go back and watch it, and I've been watching it all week long, this offensive line, for all of its deficiencies and problems that it's had, it was a punishing running style, 26 carries, 91 yards by Najee Harris. And you watch, there's guys were battling. And I saw a young Danny Moore not getting a whole lot of help on the edge with Myles Garrett, but fighting his butt off and doing the best that he could with that. I got to respect that. And I got to respect the fact these guys are a few steps forward. You got to come back with that same sort of effort. It's the demeanor, the intensity, and the ferocity that you're going to bring Monday night.
Matt, very quickly, Adrian Clem is gone. Chris Morgan will be taking over the offensive line duties. Will anything change in this game?
I doubt it. I mean, it's probably too late in the year to make drastic sweeping changes. I'm sure he has some technique advice for some of these guys, probably Green and more than anyone. It's a little early in the week, but I'm excited for Kevin Dotson to come back. I mean, going through, I think that's going to happen from what I had heard last. Going through 5 left guards takes its toll.
That would certainly be good. We do have a roster move. A few to announce that the Steelers told us about this afternoon. Marcus Allen, who is on the COVID-19 list, has been activated from that. But unfortunately, the Steelers placed defensive back Arthur Maulet on it. They also signed Darius Shepard to their practice squad. He is a wide receiver. Time now to tell you about our Week 17 opening lines across the league, presented by Unibet Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're in Pennsylvania and ready to place your wagers on any of this weekend's matchups, just download the Unibet PA app or visit pa.unibet.com. We have much more coming here on the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. We're going to talk about the Cleveland Browns run game, a little tongue twister there, and much more when we return. Don't go anywhere.
My focus is winning this game. I mean, this is going to be one of the, if it is indeed my last regular season game there, it's going to be one of the most important games of my career. I've been so blessed to play in front of the best fans in all the sports at the best venue, and what better way to have a last regular season potential game than Monday Night Football against a division opponent.
Welcome back to the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. We are talking Steelers and Browns Monday Night Football at Heinz Field. As we have heard, Ben Roethlisberger saying it could possibly be his last regular season game at home. Matt, let's talk about the Cleveland Browns and their offense. The Steelers have been able to not stop the run quite so well. The Browns, on the other hand, are top 3 team in rushing. Where is this going to go on Monday, and how do the Steelers fix some of their issues?
Yeah, the Browns are pretty cut and dry, and I really think the game comes down to this. In the first meeting, they did a nice job stopping the run, and maybe that's the last time we could say that about the Steeler team. And almost any year, I would say, boy, if they dedicate themselves to stopping the run, leave their corners on islands, they'll be fine. You know, Chubb and company won't tear you up. This year, I'm not as confident, obviously, from what we've seen lately. But they do have recent success against this team. I frankly believe Chubb is the best pure ball carrier in the whole league. I mean, he is a rare player with the ball in his hands. Bowling ball of butcher knives with explosion, vision, total package. So they're really going to have to be dedicated. He's hard to get on the ground. But with all respect to Baker Mayfield in that passing game, it's very deficient right now. I don't think the Steelers will show much respect at all for the Browns passing game.
Well, if you said you've been going back and looking at that week 8 win in Cleveland, what can the Steelers take away that they did so well to hold them under 100 yards rushing?
Oh, that's fantastic, Missy. I'm watching. I'm going, wow, there's got to be some secret sauce here going on with the defense. And what did they cook up? And I'm watching it. And, you know, they came up with this incredible, intriguing defense. It was set the edge, hold the point, play your gap, disengage, and make the tackle. Who could have figured that one? I mean, it was great. These guys went down the line. They shed the blocks. They came off. They tackled. They ran en masse to the to the tackle point. I mean, it was just a nice job of staying in your gaps and doing all the things that they haven't found themselves doing as of late. I think you can recapture that. I believe that you can. You know, they did play a little bit with the 5 big guys up front, get the double turns, that sort of thing. But still, it's still basic football, and it's just executing what Cam Hayward has been talking about. He's not lying when he says we need to just get off blocks and make the tackle.
Labs, go ahead.
And the Steelers did that, as Wolf explained, and that has an impact on the other sideline. I mean, if you look at the game and look at the stats after, Kevin Stefanski, I won't say he gave up on the run, but he did not stick with it. You look at the game, the Browns were never behind until there was 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He called 22 run plays and 36 pass plays. Now, to me, it wasn't really roundly successful early on, and so he got away from it. And that's what you try and do, a psychological kind of thing to the opponent. You stop them early or show them that they can't run at will on you, and they'll try other things. And then that kind of plays into your hand as well by them not continuing to probe a weakness, because, as Matt was explaining, Nick Chubb, he's one of those guys who will go, 2 yards, 1 yard, -1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, 64 yards. And that's what you have to worry about when you're playing the Browns run game.
Matt, going back to Baker Mayfield, somebody you mentioned, we saw the 4 interceptions on Christmas Day and the loss to the Packers. I know he's been dealing with injuries. How has he changed since these two teams last met?
He's dealing with a lot of injuries. He's very tough. He's very competitive. And I'll just be honest. I mean, frankly, I don't think he's all that talented, to be very honest with you. I mean, he can throw the football hard, but he really has to load up to do it. He doesn't flick his wrist and make quick throws like a lot of these guys, like a Mahomes last week. And the real key with Mayfield, and I think a lot of listeners probably don't think about this anymore, short quarterbacks still have a hard time seeing the field. And if you're Drew Brees or Wilson or Kyler Murray with their feet and their quick feet and their footwork in general, you can find throwing lanes. But Mayfield isn't as nifty or as athletic as those guys. He has a hard time seeing, and that's a big problem. And, last little offensive note, they're on a backup right tackle. The Steelers are probably going to be without Millette. They don't see a lot of 3 receiver sets anyways. You're going to see a lot of 12 and 13 personnel, a lot of tight ends on the field. But Watt has a really good matchup, and the lack of Millette not being there probably won't hurt him much in this matchup.
All right, guys, it is time now to tell you about Pick and Win, also presented by Unibet. Each week, participants can earn points for a variety of trivia and predictive questions. The person with the most points at the end of each week will win a prize. The grand prize at the end of the season to the top points getter is a trip to the Pro Bowl coming up in Las Vegas. Free and easy to play. Download the Steelers official mobile app, create a fan profile, find the Pick and Win banner under the Fan Zone section. Guys, thanks so much for joining me this week. Happy New Year. Can't wait to see everybody at Heinz Field on Monday night. Should be a really good one, right?
Absolutely. Happy New Year.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We will see you next week here on The Matchup Show.
What's up, Steeler Nation? It's Terrell Edmonds. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers official YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on everything going on in the Steel City. Thanks for being the best fans of football, and here we go.